The human rights issue that I have chosen is discrimination against Indigenous people in Canada. As an educator, I would like to further explore the issue of Aboriginal education. My topic is provide the best education for children, including Indigenous people. Before we start, I want to share with you very sad news. Remains of 250 Indigenous Canadian children found outside of school they were forced to attend. The report documented horrific physical abuse, rape, malnutrition, and other atrocities suffered by many of the 150,000 children who attended the school, typically run by Christian Church, on behalf of Ottawa from the 1840s to the 1990s. It found more than 4,100 children died while attending residential school. Do you know about the education issues of Indigenous people in Canada today? Indigenous people have lower education. Many Indigenous children who grow up on reservations do not have access to standard educational opportunities. Canada has 3 types of First Nation education to Indigenous students, which are federal school, provincial school, and local school. The problem with the most of these schools are they severely underfunded. Indigenous children have 20 to 40% less money per person to attend primary or high school than non-Indigenous children. Indigenous youth have low enrollment rate in major urban areas. From last slide, we can find out the unfair way that injustice of the government approach to the education of Indigenous people and the need for the improvement. On this side, we can see more than 1/3 of Indigenous people haven't earned a high school diploma, and there are only 8% of Aboriginal people aged from 25 to 64 who hold university degree compared to the 23% of non-Aboriginal in the same age group. Canada still has many instances of discrimination against Indigenous people. For example, the federal government discriminates against First Nation children on reserves by failing to provide the same level of children welfare service that exists elsewhere. The government responds. The Prime Minister says that lower funding for Indigenous students is simply not right. It's also illegal. The cost of non-educated First Nation people in Canada is very high. According to the Royal Commission of Aboriginal Peoples, Aboriginal poverty will cost Canada up to $11 billion per year by 2016. This could be detrimental to the Canadian economy, especially when there will be an employee shortage and many industries will be struggling to look for skilled workers. Today, between 2011 and 2016, 1 in 4 students living on reserve graduate from high school within 4 years of starting grade 9. High school dropouts are likely to find employment. All Canadians can pay the price more in spending on prisons, health care, and social assistance, also regardless of economic impact. The education of children, whether children are Indigenous, white, yellow, or black, they should be treated equally. So what can we do to avoid these issues? First, we can advocate the voice of those who face discrimination. Secondly, advocating the on-the-right education principle and legal obligations through research and study on key issues. Thirdly, enhancing capacities, reporting mechanism, and awareness on key challenges. Lastly, as an ECE, we can teach our children about respect for cultural diversity and anti-bias to avoid such problems in the future. the long-term future not only of our native peoples, but of this country is education. I really like this sentence. So it's our responsibility to build an equally and non-discrimination, cross-cutting human rights society, and everyone should be upheld and applied by everyone, regardless of their area of work, to make a difference in their communities. Build a society that respects human rights with dignity, mutual understanding, and peaceful dialogue.